Hello and welcome to this week's episode of Layman's Guide to the Multiverse, where we dive between the panels and break through the fourth wall. I'm your host, Matt, and today I got Ed.
Hey, what's up, man?
Got Douglas.
Yo.
And I got Paolo.
I usually go last, right?
I think so.
Yeah, that's about right?
Okay, yeah, that's fine.
It's you're alphabetical on the chat list, so that's how I do it.
That's fine. That's fine. We're good. We can handle that.
All right.
It's not like we're going crazy. It's some weird. Yeah. No.
Hot take.
Yeah, hot take.
The hottest of takes.
This week we're doing the craziest villain possibly ever, the Joker.
God.
Yeah, he's a clown.
Yeah.
What a fucking goof.
Or a Joker, perhaps. Ooh, hot take. But yes, probably the most notorious of all of Batman's rogue gallery, probably.
I definitely will agree with that. He is most definitely the most notorious.
He's probably the most visibly recognizable comic book villain in the world.
That's fair.
Yeah,
I'd give you that.
That's fair. I can see that.
Yeah, honestly,
I mean,
think
Galactus with that headdress, like, do people know his name? Or they're just like, hey, it's that fucking purple guy from that fantastic thing, right?
Super tall purple dude who fucking is taller than buildings.
Okay.
About as big as big as planets. Yeah.
Okay. First things first, guys. All right, he's a giant cloud, as is seen in the MCU, and
how dare you? Those movies are not canon.
This movie should be shot out of a cannon. No, but speaking of purple, our Prince of Crime.
Yes. So, I mean, we have a new Joker movie amongst us.
And we have a lot of different feelings about that as well. Let's be honest here. I think that's probably the biggest reason why we're doing this episode is the amount of different feelings that we all have regarding this friggin' character.
Yeah, but this seems to be, I haven't seen the movie yet, but everybody that I know that's seen it says they kind of humanize the Joker to a bit.
I hate that so much. You don't humanize the fucking Joker. I'm sorry.
Apparently there's a lot of they talk about mental illness and all this other stuff. I haven't seen the movie, but again, it's the most humanizing take on the Joker that, from what I can tell, I haven't seen the movie.
That's fair.
I mean, before that though, I mean, we had, Jared Leto, the damaged Joker, as we all know him as. I saw that movie, but I didn't actually see that movie because, as I described earlier, I watched it on an old projection television, and that movie was so dark I really couldn't see anything.
It's not even the best part about that is it was both dark because it was trying to be dark and dark because it is actually visually dark.
Yeah, it's also it's
the movie was hiding from itself.
I wish that movie was hiding from theaters.
Yeah, all right, hold on.
I think
if you watch the extended cut of the Suicide Squad, it's fine. Like, it's not great, but it's not like
it's definitely not the greatest thing I've ever seen. Hell, I walked out of the theater going, "There's a good cut of that movie somewhere."
Absolutely, there's absolutely a good cut of that movie somewhere. Just like there's a good cut of Justice League out there too.
Ooh, don't even get me started.
I'm pretty sure what happened was the director made his cut, the suits got the hold of it, and he hated it so much he says, you know what, screw it. People are still going to watch the movie, but I want to make sure they can't see it. And then he was sitting in the control room and turned the brightness way the F down.
All right.
That's my take. So moving back a bit forward, then we also have the Heath Ledger Joker.
Which is by far, for a lot of people, the end-all, be-all of
the definitive
live action version of the Joker.
It's a good performance. He was a very fun Joker. I felt that he did a lot of callbacks to the previous Jokers, namely the Cesar Romero Joker. We'll get back to him in a little bit. So again, just between those three Jokers, very different. But then you go back even further, you get the Mark Hamill Joker from the animated series,
which is the definitive Joker. Let's be honest here. Yeah.
I think for the four of us,
you're lying.
It's. I mean, it's a race for the second.
Yeah. I mean, there's a reason that, like, when Baker does the Joker now, he's just doing a Mark Hamill.
Yeah. I mean,
you're talking about what's his name? Troy Baker. Yeah, Troy Baker, who's currently doing the voice of the Joker in a lot of the animated series.
Yeah, he's just doing Mark Hamill.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I mean, like, can you name any of the other animated Jokers besides Hamill?
The guy who
besides
did
Baker.
What's his name?
John DiMaggio.
Yeah, John DiMaggio. Thank you. The guy who played Bender, no less.
Yeah. Yes.
Principal
Lewis from American Dad was the Joker on The Batman, or was it The Batman Strikes?
Batman.
Was it the Batman? Yeah, it was the Batman.
Yes. Yeah.
The Batman. The one where they made him look like this weird, like Jamaican Joker hybrid.
God.
Yeah, but it's not like you guys are going, oh fuck, the John DiMaggio Joker. No.
He was pretty good though. I liked him in Into the Red Hood.
I do that because it was such a departure from everything else. But that's just me. I'm a crazy person.
Well, then DiMaggio's an amazing voice actor.
He's really good.
He really is.
But and then before that we had Jack Nicholson.
Yeah. Still a solid performance to this day.
Yeah. I mean, I defend it.
It's fine. It's Jack Nicholson playing Jack Nicholson dressed up like a clown.
Yeah, and it works.
Yeah, I
don't care. The most offensive thing about that movie is still the Batuzzi, but that's on the story for another day.
I thought that was the '60s show.
No,
the Batuzzi?
No, the Prince version of the
Batuzzi.
The
Prince. Yes. Oh, I know what you're talking about. Yeah.
That's a whole other thing.
The one where they're marching down the street and which was the funniest joke I thought in Lego Batman, where at one point the guard is talking to the bad guys and goes, "What are you gonna do? March in a parade listening to Prince?" And then last but not least, the most other notable Joker I could think of is, of course, the Cesar Romero. Which is funny because, again, Joker seems to be getting darker over the years. And then, you get the 1960s Batman, especially if you're watching it backwards, like most people I know do, 60s Joker is such a departure. He goes from, oh man, he's going to like poison all of Gotham City to, oh man, how are we going to beat Batman in this surf contest or some stupid crap,
Batman, I'm going to hang you over this vat of cotton candy.
Yeah, exactly.
I hate that that's really a movie. Like that's one of the episodes.
Oh, some days you just can't get rid of a bomb, Paulo.
Yeah, I know. Some days you just can't get rid of a bomb.
Oh man. So Doug, what can you tell us about the history of the Joker? Because going off of as far back as I know, 1960s, I can only imagine how tame he must have been when he got introduced in what year are we talking?
We got to go to the research, guys. Go to the research.
Yep. 1940, in the first issue of Batman, which is not Batman's first appearance because he's from Detective Comics, but the Joker appeared in the very first issue of Batman #1, and this was a surprise to me because I went into it thinking like you do, because he was such a goofy character in the 60s. Right. But the thing is the Joker as a character is older than any two of us combined.
Mm-hmm.
And as it turns out, he actually started off dark, gritty, and violent.
Oh yeah, really?
What was the movie that he was based off of?
Conrad Veidt in The Man Who Laughs.
Yes. His like that opening, like I think it's even the first page of the comics got that that huge grin, and he's looking behind him, is lifted straight from the movie poster.
Mm-hmm. Oh, wow. He is visually designed after that character and the classic Joker symbol for playing cards. And his personality was supposed to be an homage to that movie as well. Oh. And I believe that movie is like from 1926 or 1928.
I'm sorry. So a little bit of my ignorance here. I actually never watched the movie, and to be honest, I never did any of the research to find out more about the movie. I just remembered that was a very striking visual, like watching that character. It's a scene that I've seen. I don't know if I've seen it on YouTube or something. He turned around and he has this like rigor mortis looking grin. What exactly is that personality that they're kind of portraying for the character? Did you see the movie? Do you know anything about it?
I did not see the 1928 movie. No.
No, I haven't seen it. It's actually on my list though of like movies I need to go see. And I think it's also on the Criterion movie list.
Oh, okay.
I might be wrong about that though. But it is one of those like universally.
Yeah. Oh no, I was just gonna say I'm looking this up now because why not? Apparently he is a character named Gwynplaine who is disfigured with a permanent grin on his face by another character named Dr. Hardquanonne. Huh. So that he will forever laugh at his fool of a father.
So
interesting.
Okay, so DC got inspired by this, and they just said, okay, let's just make him into a clown, So what was back then? Was he just going around doing like comedy hijinks and stuff like that? You know, the old the old gun that goes bang just to give everyone a scare. Like,
I mean, the gun goes bang and then you get shot with a bullet. He was a murder hobo, man.
Pretty much. Yeah. No, there was when he first came out, if I recall, he was not the Joker. Well, he's the closer to the Joker that we know now.
Yeah.
But back then he was like a just straight up murder hobo, I think is the term.
Wait, he was literally murdering hobos.
He might.
I don't know about the hobos, but like the first issue of like, I think the first page or of that issue is something like a bunch of people gathered in a room saying like, the Joker said he's going to kill me at midnight. So,
oh man,
yeah,
it was a mob type character, I believe, at the same time too.
Yeah, he was more or less like a gritty mob boss.
So DC beat Insane Clown Posse to the Killer Clown Punch by 50 years.
Yeah, 100%.
Damn.
Yeah, no doubt. And it's funny because it looks like he died in like his first appearance. He goes to like stab at Batman, ends up stabbing himself. Mm-hmm. And this was because the writer thought that if any villains came back after the first time, it would make Batman look incompetent.
Well, also at the time, Batman was also kind of a murder hobo as well.
That is true.
He dresses up like a flying mammal and shoots people.
Yeah, he had his bat gun, and then it wasn't his first appearance where he like hung a giant by a noose from the bat plane.
Was it?
What?
He did it, but he did it by accident. But was like, you know what? That's fine. He deserves it. He's a criminal.
This goes against everything I was taught in Batman Forever.
Well, you got to remember something. Characters kind of change with the times, and that's something that we kind of get stuck on because there's so much history to these characters, and unfortunately, there's just not enough like just time to go into just how much history is in these characters. Even not just for like a podcast, but for just like sitting there in conversation.
Yeah.
So we have this murder hobo character who, mob boss kind of character who ends up coming back
right away. Actually, he's in 9 of the first 12 issues of Batman.
Right, and then and then he gets changed.
He does. He starts becoming more like what we all thought he was to start with, which is that kind of goofy, like almost like a prankster and less of a criminal. Like, that's when his plans got convoluted and silly.
He had to make those boners.
Yeah.
Wait, what?
Yeah. Oh, that's if you don't actually know that, Matt, that is a classic page that we will need to show you.
Well, no, just to kind of give the audience a little something about that. So
it's like 60s slang.
60s slang was boners were like joke crimes. Yeah, like joke crimes.
Oh. They were like pranks.
Yeah, they were pranks. Pretty much is what a boner was. And
oh man,
and nothing has changed.
I'm just laughing at the fact that boner makes me laugh. Like fucking kids we are. Regardless, though, yeah, that's a panel. That's a panel where you need to just look up Joker boner.
Yeah,
no, don't do that.
Wait, yeah, right.
No, holy shit.
No, search it with safe search on.
In any case, so he becomes more like that character that we kind of expect from the Cesar Romero Joker. Yeah,
and this actually also came in line with comics becoming more child-friendly in general, figuring that the government might step in and regulate some of the darker, more violent comic books of the time. In 54, they started this thing called the Comics Code Authority, which was
comic cops.
The comic cops basically saying, like, this is what you can and cannot have in comics. And the industry did this itself to preventatively stop the government from getting involved.
It's actually amazing.
And so for like 70 years, all the big names in comics would slap that Comics Code Authority approval stamp at the top of the comic, and it was all voluntary. There was no laws that anyone had to do it, but it has been dropped by everybody at this point. It is now a defunct label that means nothing.
It definitely means nothing. Once in a while, though, it's like a throwback to either Marvel or DC throw that Comic Code seal of approval on there.
Gotcha. Okay, so, all right. So from when did you say debuted? 40 what?
Yeah, 1940.
1940. Okay, so from about 1942, about 1950, what
'54 is when the Comics Code Authority came into being. I'm not sure exactly at like what year because I wasn't reading the comics in the 40s.
You weren't a twinkle in your father's eye, sir.
Okay,
my father wasn't born yet.
Okay,
he was just a twinkle in his father's eye, sir.
Okay, so all right, so the first 20 some odd years, he was a crazy, insane murderer, hobo, clown thing. Comics Code Authority steps in, then he becomes a hilarious boner.
Apt.
and that okay, so that was the introduction to the Joker that the general public is more familiar with, the
Right.
Cesar Romero Joker.
Yes.
Yeah, you
And
could sort of
that
say
was
that.
basically from like the mid 50s all the way through until the early 70s. That was the version of the Joker. And his modern incarnation, or at least the beginning of it, came in, I believe it was 73 or 74, when Dennis O'Neil took over, and he went back through the archives and saw what the character had become and what the character was originally, and tried to incorporate all into one character, keeping some of the more outlandish and preposterous aspects of the Joker, like some of the themes, like the cards and the Joker fish and the little squirty acid flowers, things like that, the goofier things, but also incorporating more of that murdery evil vibe from the original Joker.
I feel like that was also the point where we got the premiere of that like fine ass purple suit that he puts on, like the really like the one with the long tailcoat and like
that really
tailored
tight.
fit.
I could have swore Caesar had that.
Well, he did. It's not the first time he had like the purple suit, but like that is when they kind of made it more iconic looking. That's also where they elongated the Joker's face to make it kind of pointy, to make the smile more ominous. So basically, that take when Dennis O'Neil was writing is where like visually the modern Joker was kind of born.
Oh, like the crazy long chin and everything.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Yeah, that crazy long chin just kind of like it became a very defining part of his characteristics, I feel.
Oh, definitely.
Because like the Joker, I felt like from Injustice was much closer to like that 70s Joker. Looking at the picture, where he's kind of like super deformed in a sense.
Yeah, like very lanky and elongated.
Yeah.
That was all an intentional decision. Like I believe Dennis O'Neil told the writers what he wanted, or the artists what he wanted the character to look like.
Yeah, he worked really closely with Neil Adams.
All right, Neil Adams,
yes.
The artist who kind of that's at the same time that we also started to get that really classic kind of bright blue and gray Batman as well, to give a really big contrast between the two characters. Mm-hmm. And I also feel like that's around the time where they started to introduce a lot more of the Joker, kind of his obsession with Batman, so to speak.
Right. It's literally where he started to become the modern character.
Right.
And it's really good that it happened when it did, because the Joker as like the bumbling, like non-threatening clown villain was so like tired that the Joker had not appeared in a comic book in DC for over 4 years.
Wait, really?
Wow.
Yeah. When then Dennis O'Neil took over and reintroduced him.
Huh.
Yeah, I mean, the Joker episode didn't happen until like midway through season 1 of the Batman TV show. I mean, he wasn't like the bad guy on that show.
Yeah, he was just a bad guy on that show.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
and that's exactly it. And so the early 70s in Dennis O'Neil's run is when he starts to become the character we know now. And then after that, of course, you have things like The Killing Joke, the take on the Joker in Dark Knight Returns, and that all just served to cement his twisted dementedness and his inner Twoven obsession with Batman.
So I guess you can say we can kind of stop there as far as the Joker evolving. Now, as far as I know, the only backstory we really have in lore of the Joker, the closest thing we got is Killing Joke, the Alan Moore comic.
Yes and no. That in and of itself is a huge topic, because there's so much to talk about, namely the if we're being honest here, the kind of multiple choice that comes with the character in terms of his background, his backstory. So, and one of the things to bring up is the fact that in comics, really, you didn't get a lot of backstories for these villains, especially these iconic villains, until like later on in their careers.
Right. Yeah, when they decided these things needed, these characters need an origin.
Yeah, right. And back then, they didn't want to humanize or give origins to villains. They just wanted them. Look, this is the bad guy. Hate him.
Yeah. But
this guy's fighting Batman. Yeah, make sure he dies.
At the same time, though, I mean, Joker's. We're in the late 70s right now, so Joker's pushing 40. I would think most other villains at this point in time had some sort of backstory. I mean, I don't know this for a fact, but in the animated series, Victor Freeze, they fleshed out his backstory, and he became arguably one of the better villains on that show.
Oh yeah, he didn't have. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Well, no, I think you were going to say exactly what I was going to say, which was
the character he didn't have an origin before the animated series.
Yeah, the animated series.
Bruce Timm completely, or that they took that character and were like, he's just a dude with a freeze gun. That's also Captain Cold. Let's do something new.
Yeah.
I did not know that. The animated series introduced all of his origins?
I wouldn't say it introduced all of it, but I feel like it took him from being just this freeze gun character to taking him to that sympathetic kind of, we care about him, Heart of, I think it's called Heart of Ice or Heart of Cold or something like that. I forget what the name of the episode.
I think it's Heart of Ice.
Yeah, Heart of Ice is the episode that really creates what the Victor Freeze character is now. But not to get off topic, that is
such a good show.
Yeah.
Well, the point I was just trying to get at though is that so that the animated series is early 90s. Okay, so that's pushing 30 years right now. Joker's even older a character than Mr. Freeze, and
he didn't have a background. No, he didn't have a backstory.
He never got a background.
No, never got a backstory.
And is that? I guess that's just kind of the fun of the character in a way.
It actually is. I don't think any of us want to see a canon Joker origin.
No, it really doesn't matter. The only thing that matters is that he got that man accidentally knocked him into a vat of chemicals.
Yeah, that's pretty.
That's all that matters.
Yeah.
Allegedly, accidentally, maybe he did it.
Also, maybe that didn't even happen.
He's a failed comedian, but also
he might
not be what happened.
Do you want to know how he got those scars? I mean, I'm not really interested. Just keep being a really good actor.
Please, just.
I mean, but that was kind of the fun though in that movie too, because he gave 3 different explanations.
And that was part of the whole mystique of the character, the whole idea of it. You've got a character who you don't know who he is besides the makeup and the smile.
Right.
Besides that,
and it's better that way.
Yeah, and honestly, that was one of the reasons that I used to really, really kind of feel, okay, this character is really interesting. And then, what is his obsession with Batman? Why is he so obsessed with this man who dresses up as a bat? And that also was one of the most defining characteristics of this character, especially as you get into later runs, like Morrison's Joker.
That one's a lot of fun.
Scott Snyder's Joker, the one who cuts also his own face off, also a lot of fun. He cuts his own face off. It's fine.
Super fun. Yeah.
And it's fun. Great. It's fun for the whole family, Doug.
It's fun for the entire Bat family.
Ooh.
Before we get to that, I think it's a good time to maybe take a break, let everybody digest everything we just told them. Maybe eat some fish.
Ooh.
Something.
Okay, what's up with the Joker? Before we break, what the hell is with the Joker fish? I don't even know what you guys are talking about there.
Oh, we'll get to it.
Oh God.
We'll be back.
All right, we're good?
Yeah.
All right.
Come on, I'm doing.
Chew harder.
Chew faster.
Okay. I'm done.
All right. And we're back. We had to wait a little longer because Paulo was eating a Joker fish, whatever that is.
It's actually a Cheez-It, sir. I eat Joker fish.
Tomato.
So what the heck is this Joker fish?
All right. Well, I just want to say that as many problems in comic books, this started with a trademark dispute.
Oh, no.
All right, before we go into this, time out.
Yeah.
Are we doing the storyline? Are we talking about the storyline from the comic Joker fish, or are we talking about the one from the animated series?
We should do both.
The one from the animated series is the concept is lifted from the comic.
All right, so
they're kind of the same thing.
Yes.
Yeah.
But absolutely right. It starts with a trade dispute. Joker decides. By the way, great episode. If you haven't watched it, you should go watch it. Like, you should stop what you're doing,
super
pause
fun.
the episode, and go watch it, and come back.
Pause this. Go watch the entirety of Batman the Animated Series, then come back, and then we'll recommend you where to start with Superman, and then we'll then watch that. Come back.
Yeah. Is the name of the episode Jokerfish?
I think so.
I think
it's the Laughing Fish.
Oh, it's the Laughing Fish.
Okay.
Regardless. Oh yeah, you're right. It's the Laughing Fish. So there's a trade dispute where the Joker uses some of his Joker toxin to, I guess, poison some fish.
Yeah.
And they have his signature smile, and he wants to sell these fish for money because apparently someone wants to eat white fish with human teeth and a smile.
Yeah, somebody does, and that somebody's not me.
The man tried to
Joker fish are nightmare fuel.
Yeah, he tries to trademark a fish at the beginning of the story.
Yes, I love it.
Oh my god!
And the guy's like, I can't trademark fish, and he's like, we'll find a way to make it happen.
It's a natural resource. You can't trademark a natural resource.
No, but I'm not joking. He says you'll find a way to make it happen, or you die at midnight, and he can't make it happen because it's impossible. So Joker kills him at midnight.
Oh my god,
that's awful and hilarious.
No, So Joker invents the dope fish, and so he's trying to sell it.
Yeah, he's just trying to make money off of it. Like, this is actually a plan of his. Like, this is how
I do not remember this episode.
Oh man, what a classic!
I got a classic boner.
It's funny because fish have bones in them.
This episode is just freaking fantastic, though. Like, I think this is also the episode where we think the Joker dies at the end because he falls into like a storm at the end of it, and then he almost gets eaten by sharks that he himself also was like, I don't need to give them my signature smile because they already have one. Like, that was the Joker.
Oh, that is a thing.
Yeah, because he was gonna hang Batman into the shark tank.
There was Captain Clown in this one too, right?
No, Captain Clown was in the episode where they he has a barge that is going around just kind of spraying Joker gas out into Gotham.
Yeah. I'm sorry. Okay,
you killed Captain Clown.
You killed Captain. He's so mad about it.
No, okay, so that's what I'm talking about. So the Joker from Batman the Animated Series has that really kind of, it's still fun. Like, he's still a fun character. Like, you enjoy, and the theme song that plays, it's so whimsical. Like, it's
I remember Mark Hamill saying he's like, his Joker voice is not one voice. It's him just doing 3 different accents at like the same time, and just it like, so he'll read a line, but it'll never come out the same way.
Love it
when he's doing the Joker.
Well, all I know is whenever I read the Joker, I read it in Mark Hamill's voice.
Yeah,
so there is like that. That's one of the things that I have to add to this. Like, there's been so many different iterations of the Joker. That Mark Hamill one, though, that classic Batman the Animated Series one, is what you hear when you read. Just like you hear Batman as Kevin Conroy.
Yeah, I do.
Yeah, of course I do.
Honestly, I mean, like, that's what made me get up and buy the Arkham Asylum games, is when I found out that they were bringing back Hamill to play the Joker in those. I'm like, I need to buy this.
Oh yeah, and you were right, because it was fantastic. Those games are great.
Oh my god, yes! It was like the first good Batman game since Batman on the NES.
Yeah, like don't get me started with Arkham Knight, because I have a whole tirade about that. But those first 2 games,
it's not as bad as Batman Forever for the Genesis. All right,
I don't know, man. That the versus mode for that, it's pretty hype.
Speaking of the Arkham Knight, we should probably bring up some of the things the horrible things the Joker has done, aside from the laughing fish. Let's be honest here, because the laughing fish is just kind of like a prelude to everything that this man has done. This
such a boner.
I gotta play devil's advocate here. There's a lot of terrible things the Joker's done, but
you sound like Al Pacino here.
Why don't we name some of the good things he's done? He killed Captain Nazi.
Oh, that's right, he did.
Oh yeah.
Yo, that man.
Holy shit, he did.
The Joker actually said, "What? I may be an evil, sadistic murderer, but I am an American evil, sadistic murderer. I would never side with a Nazi."
I forgot about that.
Because the thing is, he was completely fine with Captain Nazi when he thought it was just a gag.
Yeah.
Like, when he thought, like, he's like, wait a minute. You're an actual Nazi. This isn't just like a costume.
He's like, it's not a gimmick.
Yeah.
No, it's not.
Wait a second.
And then he just shoots him. He just shoots him.
Pulls out a revolver, shoots him in the head.
What year did this happen?
Recently.
2006,
Oh
2007.
my god! How did a character, Captain Nazi, make it in comics post like 1945?
I don't
It's
know.
comic books, man. You
Wow.
gotta suspend some level of disbelief,
Yeah.
man.
So I'm glad that I've broken the ice. We can talk about the bad stuff now.
Oh, I forgot about that.
He killed Captain Nazi.
Man, that kind of doubles down that Frank Miller doesn't really know what he's doing when he writes, huh? 'Cause he had in Dark Knight Returns, he had like a sidekick, this giant like Jack Blonde that had a
Yeah, that's right.
like the swastika like suspenders covering her nipples.
God, that book was so
Right?
bad.
Wait, which book?
We're talking about All-Star Batman and Robin, which is
Also Batman and Robin, and I think she's up in Dark Knight Returns too.
Which is-
maybe not. Maybe it was Star Batman and Robin.
which is
All
by
right.
far one of the worst stories ever. Like I can't even say it's the worst Batman story. It's just one of
It's
the
just
worst
terrible.
story that's just ever
No,
written.
I can't even say it's the worst thing because I've read other stories. I've probably written worse stories. But I've read other stories that are pretty bad. At least All-Star Batman and Robin, the Boy Wonder, say the whole thing.
Like a Tribe Called Quest?
Exactly. It's like a pimp named Slickback. It's a train wreck that you can't read. I was excited to read it when it was coming out for the worst reasons.
I mean,
It's not a good book.
Oh,
this
man.
goes into the crazy pathos of like the Batman character as well, where the man paints himself and an entire room and everything in
we've
it's
talked
yellow.
about-
Yes,
but we're not
we
going
have.
to get into that right now. We're talking about the way the Joker has murdered. He's murdered a Robin.
Yeah.
He paralyzed
better?
Batgirl.
Wait,
Who also
got
got
better?
better.
Wait, he murdered a Robin?
Yes.
Which one?
The second
the worst
Robin.
one.
The worst Robin.
The second Robin.
The second Robin.
The worst
one. Yeah. Well,
which is the second Robin
Yeah.
again? Which is the second Robin again?
Jason
Todd.
Jason Todd. Okay.
Yeah. By the way, to give you an idea of how bad Robin was, this was a fan choice.
No, that's what
I was about to say, yeah. That was the one where you called the
Forgot about
800
that.
number at the end of the comic,
Technically,
right?
the Joker
Yeah.
didn't kill him. The Joker was just the instrument used to kill him because the fans really killed him.
Yeah. The Joker
Well, the
didn't kill him.
Joker
We killed
and his
him.
crowbar.
No, it
Like-
wasn't the Joker's crowbar. The Joker's crowbar beat him near to death. The explosion killed him.
Yes.
Yeah. It was a brutal scene for its time, though.
Oh,
Oh, yeah.
absolutely. And then the watching Batman pick up just this broken body of a young boy. I think he was like 16 or 15 at the time.
Something like
Yeah, something like that.
It was
bawling his eyes out.
yeah, no, it was a really rough scene to watch. But
He wasn't having a boner then.
Good night, everybody.
that was a really good. That was a really good. Looking back on it, was terrible, but like it's still
Right.
It's still really well
For
done.
the time, it's like,
it's a
oh shit, they
classic
just
moment.
showed a kid getting blown up.
Yeah.
So, all right. So he murders
Comics
a
code be
Robin.
damned.
Yeah,
I know in the Killing Joke, you guys were talking about this before. He shoots Barbara Gordon and paralyzes her.
Mhm.
Right in the spine.
He also kidnaps. By the way, he also kidnaps Commissioner Gordon and traumatizes him by
does.
showing him pictures of what he
Barbara.
of Barbara. Yeah,
Yeah, his mostly naked daughter.
yeah. There's the
Implication?
implication that he sexually assaulted her as well.
I think he straight up though was like to one of his underlings is like, do that, but like he thinks it.
I think so. I honestly don't know.
Like, I
feel-
want to be like he alludes to it, but he alludes to it to Gordon, but like somewhere else they kind of like unmuddy that water. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like it's clear that he didn't. It could just be misremembering, Mandela effect, wishful thinking.
Unless you watch the current video of it, and then you know that Batman slept with Batgirl before that whole thing happened.
Oh, you mean the Killing Joke
The
animated movie
animated Killing Joke movie.
where the first 20 minutes aren't the comic, and then for the rest of the movie, Mark Hamill and
Kevin Conroy
let's
just
say
read
Bruce
the,
Timm. That's wrong. Yeah.
yeah.
They're just reading a script. Like they're phoning it in.
Yeah.
Like they're not even in a studio.
It's really kind of depressing, and that's one of the best stories. But they're really just like reading the writers didn't even bother changing any of the script. They just literally took it page for page from the Killing Joke.
Which in some places is not a bad idea.
Right.
Let's see what else we got that he's done bad. I'm familiar with Injustice, where he gets Lois Lane killed in like the first half of the comic.
He doesn't just get Lois Lane
Yeah.
killed. He gets Superman to kill her.
Yes. And then he nukes Metropolis.
And then as a result, he nukes Metropolis. So that you can absolutely say that that's one of the worst things the Joker has ever done.
I tried to look up a kill count for when I was doing this research, and I think the only thing I found was he's killed at least 3,000 people.
I mean, that's
it.
Yeah, that's mass genocide. Also, let's not forget he's also if you've read Kingdom Come, the Joker also kills Lois Lane in there. He also kills Jimmy Olsen. He kills most of the Daily Planet. Yeah, that's I
forgot that it was.
Yeah, that was the setup for like
Magog coming.
Yeah, Magog showing up.
They were like, Superman, why didn't you kill that clown? And he's like, because killing is bad.
Yeah.
And Magog's like, oh, are you sure?
Yeah, I was gonna say the physical manifestation of 90s comics shows up and kills him.
Just pouches ever. Yeah. The man literally looks like Cable with goat horns.
Yeah, that was the point. They were like, what's the dumbest most 90s comic book thing? And Mark,
pouches.
Wade and Alex Ross were like,
pouches.
Cable.
All right, so then
Cable does.
All right, so he murdered a bunch of people there.
Oh, do we want to talk about the Batman Who Laughs origin real quick? Like how that happened?
That's actually really interesting. So
because it'll tie into what we're talking about next too.
Yeah, because the Joker straight up was like, you know what? I'm done with this dance that we're doing. I'm just gonna get rid of Batman. So he steals a bunch of kids and their parents, right? So he steals a bunch he kidnaps a bunch of families, and one by one brings them to Crime Alley, murders them systematically, murders the parents in front of the kids systematically.
Yeah, it's pretty fucking rough. Like
while he makes Batman watch.
Yeah,
he's like, I figured it out. This is my greatest boner: murdering parents in front of their kids in front of you, while you can't do anything.
Yeah, pretty much.
Batman eventually does something about it. Breaks out of his or he overcomes, I think, whatever toxins in him.
Mm-hmm.
Breaks the bonds that he's in and just kicks the shit out of the Joker to death.
Yeah.
Joke's on Batman. He didn't realize that Joker had put a chemical in his blood. So now that blood's been on Batman's hands, and I guess like his face and everything else, he's now slowly turning into the Joker.
Whoa! It's not so much that he's turning into the Joker; he's losing all the inhibitions that made him Batman.
Yeah. And he's developing like the same kind of insanity, though, that the Joker gets, which is like a fictional comic book insanity that is not applicable to any real life mental illness.
So I mean, I'm just thinking back to like the Dark Knight, the Heath Ledger Joker, where it seems that he constantly wants to get Batman to kill him.
That I believe that is
a real thing.
Yeah, it's like his driving obsession with Batman. It's like this game that in the world the only players who exist are the Joker and Batman in the Joker's mind.
Right.
And the only way he sees of winning this conflict is to break Batman, like to corrupt him and turn him against his own beliefs.
Right.
The idea that Batman never kills.
Mm-hmm. Well, yeah, because as Batman has said many times, if I start, I'm not going to stop, basically.
Right. And then as a result, the Joker's just like, oh, I'm going to make you kill someone, specifically me.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, because who else has brought Batman closer to that?
Well, and
nobody.
They explore that in The Killing Joke. So that's the other thing about The Killing Joke. That's the ending panels are left specifically very vague to the idea that he kills the Joker at that point.
Because I'm making that noise because that theory comes from Grant Morrison. Grant Morrison was like, oh, yes, he did an interview with I think it was on one of Kevin Smith's Fat Man on Batman episodes.
Mm-hmm.
That he was like, oh no, it's obvious that like Alan Moore, like the way he wrote this was like Batman strangles him to death, and it's like, but Grant, you hate Alan because of his differing opinion on magic, like.
Why are we saying because they're opposite ends of the magical spectrum? They worship different. They worship Egyptian gods.
Honestly, that take on Killing Joke, I didn't get that.
No,
I know, last panel,
not even a little bit. I love me some Grant Morrison, but I'm like, Grant, I understand you're Scottish, crazy, and on all of the drugs. But what?
Yeah. I mean,
yeah, I'm not with that.
No, neither am I. But like, can you speak more though to the mythos, I guess you can say, in regards to how Joker is representative of like anarchy and Batman is kind of order, because that's kind of the gist I get from it.
That's absolutely the kind of the idea that they're trying to portray. Even though technically Batman works outside the law.
Mm-hmm. Right.
Batman works outside the law, but he's not going to, like, again, his moral state that he is not going to start killing.
Mm-hmm. But I think this all ties back into, you're talking about, like, the lack of a definitive origin. Because the thing is he exists in this, this relationship solely with Batman. And I think they've tried to establish that the Joker and Batman are parallels, that if the Batman exists, the Joker must exist in some form.
In a sense, as they say in Dark Knight Rises, a unstoppable force meets an immovable object.
Right.
Yeah. Well, because the whole idea is that Batman is supposed to be this uncorruptible, kind of comic book mythos, and then you have a character that is just all about nothing but corruption.
Right.
And him just trying to break.
I mean, they're both ideas.
So they bring this up. Yeah. This is actually something that they bring up in again in the Bruce Timm verse of the animated series. In Batman Beyond. So Batman Beyond takes place years after Batman has retired and he needs a new
protege. He feels protege.
Yeah, a new protege. And he's got a new suit and all this, and of course he's one of the best characters ever made. Fucking Terry McGinnis.
Terry McGinnis is fantastic.
Yeah. So in the movie The Return of the Joker, it turns out that he injects he kidnaps Tim Drake, the third Robin. In the comic book, in that animated series, he's the second Robin, though. He's more of a mix of Jason Todd than he is of actual Tim Drake. But that's true. That's semantics at that point,
right?
He kidnaps him, brainwashes him into thinking that he is the son of the Joker, and pretty much makes him his new sidekick.
Ooh,
And it's during that scene that I believe we see the death of the animated series Joker, because Batman breaks his rule and kills him as a result of everything that he did, like the suffering that he did to. I'm sorry, no, Batman doesn't kill him. Tim kills him.
Yeah.
And then so we find out. So later on, now that Gotham is Neo Gotham and it's this new city and all this other stuff, the Joker. There's a gang called the Jokers, and they pretty much are kind of trying to fill in the spot. You find out that the Joker's back, like randomly coming back, but nobody knows who he is. They go to talk to Tim Drake about it, and the big reveal is he injected himself into Tim Drake so that when the time was right and there was a new Batman, Tim Drake became the Joker. Like pretty much was his mind was overcome by the Joker's personality. By the Joker's personality.
I forget if it was like nanomachines or it was comic book bullshit.
It was comic book bullshit. Yeah.
It was like I injected you with the Joker science, and now you're the Joker when there's a new Batman.
I think the Joker was a virus or something in that
something like that.
Show.
No, it was absolutely fantastic though. Like, it's one of the best stories.
Yeah, it's like it's one of those things where it's like when you're a comic book fan, there's certain things you just go, okay, I accept this. Like it doesn't have to make complete sense.
Yeah, I mean,
it's just like this is part of the story.
Yeah, that series basically took a lot of pages out of Ghost in the Shell.
The entire series, really?
A little bit of inspiration, I would say. Yeah,
maybe.
As far as cyborgs and shit like that goes.
Well, to be fair, I've never actually seen the original Ghost in the Shell. It's also on the list of things I need to watch.
That's fine. Don't worry about it.
I think Paulo's got a point though. Is like the Joker has to exist as long as Batman exists. Like, look at Flashpoint, where Bruce Wayne was murdered in the alley instead of his parents.
Yes.
And Thomas Wayne becomes Batman, and then the grief of losing his son turns Martha Wayne into the Joker.
Yes.
It's like if a Batman exists, the Joker is exists. Like his diametric opposite, and the Joker has to exist.
And that's one of the things that pisses me off so much about this new movie. And I know a lot of people will give me hate for this.
Disclaimer: you haven't seen it.
Disclaimer: I haven't seen it. And
I don't think any of us have seen it.
Part of the reason why I refuse to see it is because of the fact that it doesn't feel right. It doesn't feel like you should be like. How are you having the Joker without Batman? That's one thing. The other thing is how do you like people are trying to humanize this character that's just a straight up murdering sociopath.
Yeah.
I mean,
he's not a sociopath.
There are very few characters in comics that are less human.
Yeah, you're absolutely right.
Joker.
To be fair, I mean, thinking back to like most of the good Joker storylines, like he seems to always be starting shit just to get Batman's attention so he can get Batman.
Yeah.
Like he's not.
Oh, he's in love with Batman.
Oh yeah,
maybe.
Yeah, that's actually they touch on that in Scott Snyder's run of Batman. That
they touched on that in a couple of things.
Yeah,
but.
I mean,
are you talking about the moment where he was like he shows up to fight Batman to be like, how am I not your best man?
Oh yeah, that's right. That's actually that's in Tom Taylor's run actually.
Oh right.
Yeah, that's Tom Taylor's run. So
okay,
during Tom Taylor's, I was actually going about the fact that this is when he ripped his face off.
Oh, do that first.
Oh, Death of the Family.
Death of the Family actually is what they called it. Death of the Family.
No, that's what he said.
Yeah. That's what I said.
So what he does is he rips his face off, right? And then he comes back and systematically is trying to kill the family, like pretty much destroy the Bat family. He actually finds out, he knows that Bruce Wayne is Batman. You come to find out that he knows that Bruce Wayne is Batman, and he doesn't care.
Doesn't give a shit.
He doesn't give a fuck about the fact that Bruce Wayne is Batman. He just cares about Batman.
Yes,
right.
And that comic had everybody. It had Barbara Gordon. Barbara
Gordon's back as Batgirl. This is the new 52.
So she wasn't Oracle.
Yeah, she wasn't Oracle anymore.
It had that. You had Tim Drake. You had the other Robin. You had Dick Grayson. You had
Tim Drake,
Damian Wayne.
You also had
Harpo. And,
well, there wasn't a Harpo. There should be a Harpo.
So, like
Pretty sure Dave Grohl was in there.
That was one example, and then there's a bunch of there a lot of. I don't want to spoil the entirety of the story because a lot more stuff happens afterwards.
Oh yeah, definitely.
But I absolutely want to So that brings up the next part where afterwards, Batman is going to get married. He's
That was the next question out of my mouth was going to be, do you want to jump into that?
Yeah. So Batman's going to get married, and
he proposed to Catwoman.
Mm-hmm. Batman, the Joker shows up to.
Doesn't he have like an entire church, like at gunpoint?
Yeah, he has an entire church at gunpoint. Batman and Catwoman show up, and he knocks out Batman. I forget how he knocked Batman out. Like he actually tells him, like, "How could you not have made me your best man?" And then
he's like, how am I not your best friend?
Yeah. Yeah. And then proceeds to try to kill Catwoman. He proceeds to try to kill her because he says he's the only one that who could ever really love me and understand me.
Classic joke.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, it's absolutely insane. But like I was saying, the diametric between Batman and the Joker is something that personifies the character. It gives him a reason for being. Otherwise, he is just a crazy murder hobo.
I mean, thinking back to it, to touch on what we were talking before about his origin, or rather lack thereof, I mean, the comics have thrown several different theories at us as to what his backstory is. Mm-hmm. In Dark Knight, they gave us, I think he has 3 different monologues where he gives a backstory. For all we know, they all might be a little true. Maybe all of them are complete and utter bullshit. Maybe one of the bajillion backstories we gotten might be the true one. We don't really know.
No, it's almost multiple choice.
But
the beauty is in the ambiguity.
I was about to say, but the fact though is that the character that is 80 years old has never been given a backstory, and he only seems to exist to piss off and corrupt the Batman, even if he has to kill like half a city to accomplish that. Why would anybody want to be like the Joker?
Right.
Like these, we live in a society memes and all this other shit and all the
Matt,
pictures.
This could be us, but you're tripping. Like,
oh my god! Don't get me started on the Harley Quinn thing.
Yeah, the Harley Quinn thing. It's like, oh yes, let's be crazy together because it's magical because they're such a power couple.
Well,
no, they're not.
I mean, they were a power couple in the sense that
they were super villains and had power.
Yeah, but he mentally manipulated her and abused her, kidnapped her, basically. And,
but I feel like most people are misconstruing that are like reposting that shit on Facebook. They're like, oh hey, let's be crazy together, and like go to craft fairs on Sundays.
Yeah. Like only she gets him.
Yeah,
yeah. That is the reaction you should have.
If I remember correctly, didn't he kind of manipulate her into joining? Like I don't remember her being crazy in the TV show when she got introduced.
She wasn't. She was a psychiatrist.
Yeah.
That's right.
Asylum.
Yeah.
She was his psychiatrist.
Yeah.
Yeah, it did not work out so well for her.
No.
I mean, she ended up with poison ivy at one point recently.
Yeah. And and that's something they always like to push. Like, that's actually a healthy relationship, despite the fact that they're both killers.
Yeah, supervillains. But that's supervillain. That's supervillain love. What are you gonna do?
Yeah.
But like I said, like that's like I don't understand people who want to like, oh, Harley and Joker are couples goals. No, they're not. Yeah. They're not. You are literally talking about just mental and physical abusive relationship. He beats her physically. He throws her out a window. And that's not even like, that's not in a comic book panel. That is in a children's cartoon.
Want to ride your Harley?
Yeah, exactly.
And then he throws her out of a fucking window.
Oh yeah.
God. Oh,
yeah. I mean, it's played up as a gag for laughs because like Looney Tunes and things.
Yeah,
but it's not.
It's not okay. It's not okay.
It's not a fucking window.
And so like at least DC has taken the steps to acknowledge this, and over the past like 10 years, they have broken off that relationship and shown her realizing how abusive it was, and not wanting to get back into it.
Actually, there's a really I love this guy's art. Stefan, I forget his last name. Stefan Sejanik. He's currently writing a Harley Quinn book that specifically explores her descent into becoming, like, going from being his therapist to being his lover. And
like his Stockholm obsessed lover.
Yes, it's his Stockholm obsessed love, and it apparently does a pretty decent job of not portraying it in a positive light. Like, you see,
I've read the first 2 issues; they're good.
Yeah, I haven't read it. I've only heard what other people have said. I actually want to read it because I'm waiting for it to be complete before I read it.
Right. But for any fans listening, it's called Harleen.
Oh, thank you. It's one of DC's Black Label, by the way.
But I mean, like, you know, looking at her whole dynamic with Joker, I mean, you kind of get a better understanding about, like, you know, how you hear like how you know, people in abusive relationships tend to go back to it.
Yeah. I mean, she was clearly damaged in a huge way, and like I said, Stockholm, like she became obsessed with her captor.
No wonder he got that damaged tattoo on his forehead.
Look, we can't listen. We can't claim to be experts. We're not experts. None of us here have any degrees in any type of psychology or anything.
I almost did.
Yeah,
I almost did too.
I'm actually only. It's funny. I don't have my bachelor's, but I'm actually only 2 semesters away from getting it. If I ever want to go back.
Yeah. Well, Professor Dickhead, why don't you go do it?
Well, let me tell you, man. If you need someone to turn a computer off and on again, I'm your fucking guy.
Ooh, and if you need somebody to ask somebody what to do when you're having an issue with your computer, I'm your guy.
And if I need, like, you know, that smooth Latin sound of Enrique Iglesias, I have Paulo.
Guys, you found me out. You found me out.
You know, I never saw you two in the same room.
Yeah. Well, you haven't seen me and Bruce Wayne in the room together either. So.
Holy shit! Are you telling me Enrique Iglesias is Batman? He could be your hero, baby.
Oh man!
Oh, good night.
All right, you know what? I think
we're not gonna do better than that.
No, that's enough boners for one night. Good night.
Good night, folks.
All of the music that you have heard is the song Dance Rocket off the album Descent of the Goober Monster by Jesse Spillane. It is licensed under an Attribution 4.0 International CC by 4.0 license off freemusicarchive.org. If you have a question, a topic you would like us to cover, or simply wish to tell us all of the facts that we have screwed up, feel free to email us at laymansguidetothemultiverse@gmail.com. Also, feel free to visit us at our website at laymansguidetothemultiverse.com.